There's two things you should know about me. Interviews never freak me out. It doesn't matter who I'm interviewing. It's just a conversation. That's how I approach it. The one thing that does freak me out is logistics. I hate logistics because you're out of control. When you're going to a Trump rally, it's like, I got to get there like 5 hours early. There's going to be traffic. What if I forgot something and I can't get in? My ID. It's like I'm a super head case about that. The idea that day was I was going to interview President Trump 5 minutes before the rally. And I was like, it's going to be longer. He loves to talk, right? Like I wasn't counting on 5 minutes, but I wrote down on my piece of paper my 4 questions I was going to ask him, crumbled it up and stuck it inside my wallet. And my daughter was with me and my son-in-law. My daughter's a photojournalist. My son-in-law we brought with us because we thought he would carry the equipment and we would stay looking very poised in 102-degree weather. That didn't happen. So we all just ended up being hot. We get there, we get on time. We're out in the blazing heat, doing some interviews, talking to people, and about 2 hours before the president's supposed to get there, I get a text that says, "Hey, we're running late." So
text
that was
from
the
who?
first. Who was it? Susie Wiles.
Oh, chief of staff.
And yeah, which is co-campaign chair. Yeah, her and Chris Lasavita, who is from Pittsburgh. He's a Yinzer. He was the other co-campaign chair, and so I get the text and I'm like, oh, there it is. When you're a journalist, like 60% of the time, the interview you're supposed to have isn't going to happen and you have to expect it. I'm like, there it is. It's not happening. And I get a text like right after that. And she says, we're going to do it after because we're running late. I'm like, okay. And I text Chris Lasavita, what the heck? It's going to get canceled, isn't it? Like, it's not my usual reaction, but I was really hot and I was really hungry.
And you're getting a slow no, right?
Yeah. And he's like, no. It's going to be fine. You're fine, Zito. You're fine. And then I get a text from Susie Wiles and says, hey, so we don't think we have enough time to do the interview. I'm like, there it is. And then she does this great pause, right? It's like, leaving me like, ah. And then she said, so how would you feel about flying to Bedminster? I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't see that coming. So I asked my daughter and her husband if they could go. They have 4 little kids. So I didn't, I watch the 4 little kids all the time, but there's not a lot of other people that have, and they're a lot. But we got someone to watch the kids. About 5 minutes before, Trump lands, and everybody's all happy. The buzz goes around. He's behind the stage. He does this thing called a click line where he meets with mostly first responders and pulls some people out of the crowd and just, meets them, shakes their hand, asks about their life. And so he's back there, and all of a sudden, this young man, his name was Michel Picard III. He comes, he's the campaign press guy, and he goes, it's go time. I'm like, wait, what? We're going now? So we go running through the crowd. We get behind the stage. My daughter's exhausted. We're soaked. My son-in-law's with us. And we get to this click line, and I looked at Michel Picard and I said, where are we doing this interview? And he looks at me very sheepishly. He goes, I don't know. So he goes around and he asks President Trump. And President Trump said, where's my Salena? And he comes back. Michel Picard comes back and he goes, yeah, you're not interviewing now. He just wants to say hi. So I go around. He's like, there, look, doesn't she have the best hair in journalism? And I said, no, Mike Rowe calls it a mop. So apparently I don't. And we talk about my grandchildren. And then he's like, you okay with coming on the plane? I'm like, yeah, right. Like, I wouldn't be okay with that. I mean, I didn't say that. I get really quiet. I'm like, yes, sir. I'm fine, sir.
What kind of plane is he in at this point?
Trump Force One.
Trump Force, okay.
Trump Force One. We talk about grandchildren. We talk about Pennsylvania. He goes, all right, I'll see you in the plane right after. So at that point, I can hear the music outside, and there's like a certain number of certain songs that go in order, and it's time for him to go on stage. Michelle Picard looks at myself and my daughter and Shannon, and is like, or my son-in-law Michael, and he says, yeah, you're just going to have to go in the buffer, because you're just going to have to leave to go in the motorcade. The buffer is this area between the stage where the president is and where the rally goers are. And it's probably an 8-foot wide area. Mostly Secret Service is in it and photojournalists, and that's it. They have the pool spray. So the pool spray will go through and take photos as he goes in and goes out, and just takes shots of the crowd. And so Shannon, Mike, and I are in the buffer. So if you look at the cover of Butler, which I'm going to show everyone, see, you got your copy?
I got it right there. Got an advanced copy.
Yeah. So if you look at that cover, my daughter took that photo. We're following him out in the buffer. And you can see, like, that photo illustrates so much that is important, because you see that his relationship with the crowd is very transactional. He feeds off of them, they feed off of him. It's a very emotional connection.
Yeah, look at the faces of the crowd.
And yeah, and so we're in the buffer. We follow him out. We go in front of the podium. We have some great shots, great video all the way around. We eventually go off to the side, because that's where we'll exit for the motorcade. It's like 4 minutes into his speech, and this chart goes down. I'm like, what is he, Ross Perot? He never has a chart. And the second thing that caught just in a flicker, he never turns his neck away like this. He'll turn his body away, but he never faces away from the crowd. In that moment, he did. He turns his neck. The chart goes down. He turns his neck. Pop, 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 pop. And I see him grab his ear. I see the blood streak across his face. I see a sea of blue come out around him. He doesn't fall down. That was the first thing I noted. I'm like, okay, he went down on his own. Like, it's really, people say things happen in slow motion. That definitely happened in slow motion. I watched the whole thing in slow motion. I can still replay every second of it, every smell, everything. And a sea of blue comes around him. I'm still standing. I've got the recorder on in my phone. Not because just because I had it on, right? Because I wanted to record his speech. I'm not thinking about that. I hear 4 more pops. And then Michelle Picard takes me down into the ground. And I can see the whole thing. I hear the whole conversation he has with the Secret Service. Some of the things that stand out to me is there was no panic in that crowd. That crowd kept saying USA. And I can see Trump, he's almost facing me at this point. And I hear him mouth USA. He doesn't say it out loud, he's facing the crowd that was behind him, not the big crowd in the farm field. Mm-hmm. And he turns around, and that's when he says, fight, fight, fight. And they take him past me. There's his hat got knocked off, but the Secret Service person had it in the crook of their hands, right? And there's a guy in camo as they take him past me that has a gun right at my face. And for some reason, I wasn't afraid. And I just knew that they were protecting him. And they walk past me, and his hat just slowly falls right in front of me. And I just remember feeling like I heard it land. I didn't. But it felt, there was something about that moment that felt powerful. And people can read the rest of what happened the rest of that day. But I think what's really important, and this is, the beginning of the rest of the book, is he calls me the next morning. And I don't usually swear like a truck driver, but only when I'm really like something, whatever. He calls me the next morning and he said, before I could even say hello, he said, Salena, are you okay? Are Shannon and Michael okay? And I said, are you kidding me? You were just shot and you're asking how I am. And it was really quiet. He would go on, and people will read it in the book. He called me 7 times that day. Some very, very powerful conversations. And the one I will share right now that I think people don't understand, because I asked him, just like I asked him last week when I went on Air Force One, can't believe like community college Salena went to Air Force One, right? I asked him that day, and I repeated it last week when we were talking, why did you say fight, fight, fight? And he said, I wasn't Donald Trump in that moment. I was representing the country. I had to show the country that we are going to be okay. We are going to survive this. I could not show weakness. I didn't want people that were there to panic. And I didn't want people at home to panic because I knew they were watching it. So in that moment, I was saying fight, fight, fight for our country, for the office of the presidency, not for myself. And that really, really got me.
If you like what you heard,
and even if you don't,
won't you please,
pretty please, subscribe. Well, I hate to beg and I hate to plead, but please, pretty